Hello everybody and welcome to Pakistan Corner, a show where we analyze important issues facing Pakistan. Today we are going to address how we project the relationship between Pakistan and India in the next 10 years. Will there ever be a reconciliation between India? I'm your host, Keyla Fastabend. Before we can talk about the future relationship of Pakistan and India, we need to start from the beginning. In 1947, after ruling India for over 90 years, the British government withdrew from India. According to historians, it was because the British government feared a civil war between the Hindus and Muslims, as conflicts kept growing between them. So British India was partitioned into India and Pakistan. Now, the provisional division was based on Hindu and Muslim majorities, which caused mass migration for all of those that did not live within their majority group. This migration brought the death of nearly 1 million, and over 13 million had to flee their homes. People were killed in communal violence, resulting in an atmosphere of hostility, and that has remained for decades. After the partition, both countries claimed ownership of the Jammu and Kashmir regions and have been disputing since partition. Pakistan and India had many military disputes and 3 major wars since. 2 of them were over the Kashmir province. The major dispute between India and Pakistan is Kashmir. Kashmir was one of the Muslim majority regions and ruled by a Hindu king, King Maharaja. At the time of the partition, the king decided that he preferred to remain independent and did not want to join either country. So they made an agreement called the Standstill. Despite that agreement, teams of Pakistani forces were sent into Kashmir. Kashmir didn't have the security forces to fight against Pakistan, and fearing that this invasion would bring about an ascension to Pakistan, King Maharaja turned to India and requested India for troops to safeguard Kashmir. Now, in order for him to receive the support from India, he signed a legal document called the Instrument of Accession, wherein the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir became a dominion of India. Pakistan continues to think this agreement was fraudulent and keeps fighting for Kashmir. Now, something that causes global concern is that both countries have nuclear weapons, which has brought a lot of tensions between India and Pakistan. In 1974, Pakistan's Prime Minister vowed that Pakistan will eat grass if it's necessary to develop nuclear weapons after India tested its first nuclear device. By 1998, Pakistan announced that it had successfully conducted 5 nuclear tests. Nowadays, it's believed that both countries have nuclear weapons pointing at each other. Nowadays, the relationship between the countries is less than civil. The United Nations had to intervene 3 times and mandate a ceasefire. Their last ceasefire agreement was in 2003. The 2 sides agreed to a ceasefire along the line of control of Kashmir. The ceasefire is still in force, but the 2 countries have blamed each other for occasionally violating it. They continue to have artillery and small weapons fires exchange. Pakistan leaders have seen India as an existential threat since the partition. Some think India still harbors hopes reversing the split. In the meantime, India has been frustrated by what it sees as the Pakistan's military support from terror groups that strike inside its territory. India also blames Pakistan's based groups for launching terror attacks on India's soil. Last year, Islamic Jamiat-e-Tabala Pakistan, which calls itself the largest students' organization in Pakistan, released a video that uses children to peddle in jihadi narrative. The 45-second video shows these children speak about their plans for a future when Pakistan will control over India, or comments like, "We will employ the Indian army to clean the streets," and promise retribution for the death of every single Muslim. Also, both prime ministers and government officials are known for name-calling during conference press. This aggravates the relationship between them. Attempts at peace talk have brought nothing. The United States, China, and other world powers urge restraint when crises flare. Pakistan and India remain wary of a full-blown conflict, each deterred by the other's nuclear arsenal. Meanwhile, the people living in the Kashmir region have endured decades of human rights violation and abuse that at the hand of security forces from both sides. Will there ever be a reconciliation between India and Pakistan in the next 10 years? Everything points now. There are groups from both countries that are trying to make peace, but in spite of their efforts, they are not even near to repair the relationship between them. There is just so much that the minority can do while their political leader's agenda goes in doing the opposite. Well, that's our program for this week. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Keyla Fastabend, and you were listening to Pakistan Corner.